Democratic socialists are committed to democracy. Democratic socialists also believe strongly in democracy and democratic principles. They are by no means proponents of authoritarian government systems many Americans associate socialism with. So this is, to me, the where the rubber meets the road, and where democratic socialism just completely falls apart and is, to me, fairly transparently bullshit. So, like I said before, you can the idea that they're not proponents of authoritarian governments. There is no state that isn't authoritarian. No matter how limited that state may be, whatever area it's involved in, it acts as an authority. That's what it is. That's what it is by its very nature. So you can't tell me that this isn't authoritarian. And to say that they believe strongly in democracy and democratic principles, so they're by no means proponents of authoritarian government. Democracy isn't anti-authoritarian at all. What democracy is by its very nature authoritarian. Democracy is the majority forcing its will on the minority. There's nothing about that that's anti-authoritarian. It's just like, democracy is essentially mob rule. It's person A and person B votes to take all of person C's stuff. And then the government comes in and threatens them with violence if they don't give it up. There's nothing anti-authoritarian about that. And explain to me why the democracy aspect makes any difference in this, okay? Like, if you are, say, for policy X, but you're like, I'm only for policy X if 60% of the people vote for policy X. I wouldn't just force policy X onto people if 40% of people voted for policy X. Well, what does that have to do with whether it's authoritarian or not? If you get 60% of people to vote for it, the other 40 who voted against it are having it forced on them. If you got 40% of people to vote for it, the other 60% are having it forced on them. So one, you could argue, is forcing it on more people, but it's equally as the policy is either authoritarian or it's not. Like, I don't care how many people vote for, say if we had like a poll or we had a vote for whether or not pot should be legal. And let's say you got 70% of people to vote that pot should be illegal. It's still an authoritarian policy to those people smoking pot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who else voted for it. It's all meaningless. And just putting democratic in front of something doesn't make the policy more or less authoritarian. It's the same fucking policy.